distinguished Lua, distinguished Yoruba people, and our whole state, Ekiti. The hardworking governor of Ekiti State, His Excellency Dr. Kayode, you're welcome, sir. It's indeed a great honor to be here. See that this life in Ekiti, Ekiti has really been transformed. When we talk of transformation, Nigeria, this is where it is taking place. You're welcome, sir. Right now, we want to go on state press, publishers of the nation newspapers, to please come and give his opening remarks.
The governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Lagos, and Oyo State also, sensitive, entrepreneur, educationist, Chief Afefa SAN, principals from the various states, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We cover another event organized by Vintage Press Limited, publishers of the nation, in conjunction with Steady Resources since 2012, with the sole aim of putting on the front burner of public discourse the logical idea of economic integration of the Southwest. This is the idea, this is the program of the political leadership of the Southwest today, which the nation has keyed into. The medical workshop or forum in Ibadan endorsed this initiative. That was in 2012. Today's gathering in Ekiti, the capital of Ekiti State, the fountain of knowledge, is indicative of this desire to see the Southwest transform economically. Whether as a politician, entrepreneur, academic, cleric, journalist, students, we all want to see a vibrant Southwest economic zone. A Southwest that is self-sustaining, not dependent on the center or wherever for survival. We want to see the youth, the able-bodied in the zone empowered. We want to see a zone that is blazing the trail in innovation, research and development, as well as wealth creation. The theme of this workshop, micro SMEs as solution to unemployment and economic development, was carefully chosen. The world over, small and medium-sized businesses are the catalyst for economic development. In fact, somebody referred to them as the nurseries for entrepreneurship. They are the bedrock of the economies of many Asian countries, contributing over 30% to the GDP of these countries. India, China, Thailand, Malaysia, you name it. In India, for instance, it accounts for 45% of the country's manufacturing and 40% of exports. In the US, the European Union, there is a renewed focus on this subsector of the industrial sector because of the central role in stimulating economic growth and development, particularly in the area of job creation. According to studies in Nigeria, SMEs are believed to represent about 90% of firms in the industrial sector, but their contribution to the GDP is abysmally low. Far less than 10% according to some studies. A few days ago in Ibadan, that was at the lecture of the progressive governors, that is the governors under the APC. The former governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, drew attention to the high rate of employment in the country. Quoting the World Bank in his 2013 report, Tinubu puts unemployment rate in the country at 22% and youth unemployment at 38%. He also quoted the National Bureau of Statistics in his report of 2012. And that report put unemployment rate in Nigeria at 54%. Oh, put youth unemployment in Nigeria at 54%, of which females stood at 51.9 and male at 48.1. The former governor loved this situation a time bomb. This time bomb must be defused. Not tomorrow, but today. Now. Further delay will be too costly. The army of unemployed roaming the streets must be productively engaged. Through enlightenment programs and forums such as this, the youth will get to know the opportunities that are found in the different sub-sectors and what it takes to tap these opportunities. In fact, this is our schedule in organizing this workshop. There will be presentations, training sessions, exhibitions, and we hope that through these various presentations and exhibitions, some people among the army of unemployed will be inspired to take a leap in the world of entrepreneurship. They will enroll in the nurseries for entrepreneurship. We also hope that those already established will be better equipped with information on what they need to do to expand their businesses and in so doing, grow the economy. It is equally hoped that the forum will evaluate the programs and policies of the governments in the Southwest and possibly come up with recommendations on how their role as facilitators can be enhanced. This is why we have organized this forum, and it is our wish that the objective will be realized. Thank you very much.
Speech from the MD of the State Press. You warned that any nation that lives with youth and unemployed is sitting on a time bomb. May that time bomb not explode in our faces in Jesus' name. We want to also appreciate the Nation newspaper and the city resources for their doggedness in following up on all the states of the Southwest. We appreciate all. That's why we are praying that all of them, do we want to see them back? Yes. Do we want to see Dr. Fayemi back in Ekiti? Yes. Thank you very much. Right now, is welcome address. On together for you.
The governor of Ekiti State, the representative of our revered Chief Babalola, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, the distinguished Senator, here present, Senator Borges, Mr. or Reverend Fathers, region, dear President, gentlemen of the press. It gives me great honor, privilege in collaboration with CD Resources and being hosted by the government of Ekiti State. The resurgence of the vision and mission of regional integration agenda as a veritable strategy for national development has become inevitable in the light of our history and the nostalgia of that era that has appropriately been described as our golden era. As we all know, what is presently known as the 6 southwestern states were once a region under one government before their partition. During that period, the region achieved tremendous development in every sphere. The late sage Chief Obafemi Awolowo certified that the region became the role model. The region recorded first in many areas of development. It is strongly believed that all these were possible because there was common formulation, articulation, and implementation of policies and programs of development. This, of course, has informed the new integration agenda by the governors of the region. The establishment of the structure development agenda for Western Nigeria Commission, Done Commission, to coordinate and harmonize the integration activity is a practical step to move the process forward. The Done Commission now coordinates the common integration policies of the states in every sphere: education, agriculture, commerce, infrastructure, economy, culture, law and order, and indeed the new area of knowledge economy, all directed to achieve economy of scale for our people. That the integration strategy is gaining ground is no longer an issue. Private, public, and international bodies are now partnering in the consummation of this strategy for development. In this regard, the efforts of the Nation newspaper in collaboration with CD Resources in organizing this forum must be commended. This is the third in the row. And the theme for this year is organized around micro, small, and medium enterprises. This is most appropriate. This is because it is the way to go if we must create the foundation for industrial growth, reduce the scourge of unemployment, expand our economy, and have sustained empowerment of our people. On this note, I commend you to move around Ekiti and see how our governor, Dr. John Kawade, has turned the state to a Disneyland. Please enjoy the hospitality of our state while I wish you all happy celebrations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The distinguished Nigerian Ààrẹ Afẹ́ Babalola by Professor G.M. Obi, the Chairman Address. Please keep clapping until in the development of the state, in the program under consideration, and in the further relationship between the governor himself and the university. His best wishes to you all. He also sent me to make a few remarks, not the few remarks. He observed that in the aftermath of the global financial crisis of 2008 and 2009, there has been an increased interest in the role of small and medium enterprises in job creation and economic growth. He sees what you are doing today, Your Excellency, as a dream, as an idea whose time has come. The work of the World Bank Coastal Team, CGAP, in 2011 predicted the global small and medium enterprise lending volume to be $10 trillion. The bulk of this volume, 70%, is in high income countries. On average, small and medium enterprise loans constitute 13% of gross domestic production. And in the development countries, but in our own sphere of development, it makes up only 3%. Recent studies show that the SME development is closely linked with growth. One study actually found a robust positive relationship between the relative size of the SME sector and economic growth, even when the controlling is in charge of other growing determinants. According to another study, in high-income countries, my colleague mentioned China, India, and other areas that are high-income countries and income economies, formal SMEs contribute to 50% of the GDP on average. And yet another report stated that in many economies, the majority of jobs are provided by SMEs. It explains that in the OECD countries, for example, SMEs with less than 250 employees employ 2/3 of the formal workforce. Based on some country-level analysis, they estimate that on average, SMEs account for close to 60% of employment in the manufacturing sector. According to the SME Performance Review FC of 2009, between 2002 and 2008, the number of jobs in SMEs increased at an average annual rate of 1.9%, while the number of jobs in large enterprises increased by only 0.8%. In absolute numbers, 9.4 million jobs were created in the SME sector between 2002 and 2008. Also, it is often argued that SMEs are more innovative than larger firms. In developed countries, SMEs commonly follow niche strategies using high product quality, flexibility, and responsiveness to customer needs as a means of competing with large-scale mass producers. As the world economies are recovering from the financial crisis of 2008 to 2009, many economies urgently need to create employment opportunities for their citizens. In this respect, creation and growth of SMEs is an important item on the policy agenda due to the evidence that points to significant contributions by SMEs to employment. In addition, regulatory measures are necessary to ease access to formal financial services by SMEs. From these statistics, it is clear that the governors that have worked to put this kind of forum together are good visionaries. They've seen that it helps, they've seen that it will boost the economy, and have no fear at all That is why my chancellor says that this forum is like a dream. It's like an idea whose time has come, and he cannot but wish it very fruitful execution. Thank you very much. These speeches, but right now we want to enjoy part of the rich heritage of Ekiti. We want to enjoy the good music once more and the beats of Ekiti. I want to invite the state cultural.
What I would call the hub of development activities as far as Nigeria is concerned. When you talk about development in the southwest part of Nigeria, you would sound like you are preaching to the Pope. Because even before so many outstanding things started happening in some parts of Europe, it has started happening in the southwest, in the western part of Nigeria. For instance, before Portugal had a television station, Western Nigeria already had one. And indeed, if you look across this space, you will find development actions, development results that were brought out of proper thinking, proper strategy, and dedicated execution. A lot of people, when they come to the Cocoa House in Ibadan, they're surprised that the Cocoa House is still standing. And indeed, it is still standing. All the utilities in that infrastructure are still working. In fact, I'm very bold to say that probably Cocoa House is the only part of Nigeria where you have up to 18 hours of light in a day. You also have the Liberty Stadium, which is the first in Africa. And a few days ago, the Alafia of Oyo was in Cocoa House. And he was describing the joy that he felt when the Liberty Stadium was commissioned. It was the first stadium that had a tunnel where you found players coming out of a tunnel in Africa. Everything we did in the region was outstanding and was first class. But at some point, it looked like we were losing the plot. It looked like we were sabotaging the heritage, and so many things started falling apart. We can achieve several reasons for why all of that was happening. Chief of it was the very abnormal federal system that Nigeria has trusted upon the rest of us. And perhaps we can also talk about leadership issues. People simply did not flow with the vision that was propelling development. Fortunately for us, in the last few years, we have had governors and indeed governments in the region who thought that we must go back to what worked. Not necessarily recreating regionalism, while I would like that to happen even now. But for us to begin to see how we could harness our resources, harness our talents, harness the providential endowments that we have in the region, and begin to collectively leverage them together. Rather than everyone thinking in silos, they felt that it was now important for us to begin to think about what can happen if we work together. After all, we are the same people, we speak the same language, our culture is the same, we have the same unique affinities, which I have tried to see if it exists anywhere in the world and I have not found. Therefore, it is important for us to begin to think together and to begin to march together. And that was the basis for the development agenda for Western Nigeria. They have been the visionaries, or what you can call the visionaries of the process. Out of that desire was a document which was developed as the strategy roadmap. You know the way we like to do things in the Southwest. We do not just want to make things happen without having properly thought about it. Therefore, a document to provide, to be the roadmap of the agenda was launched, was presented publicly in 2012. And the document is now commonly referred to today as the DON document. I have a copy of it in front there. Now, when the DON document was presented, the governors of the region made an announcement to the people that they would set up a strategic regional institution, a dedicated regional institution to manage that process. And DON Commission came into being as that strategic regional institution to manage the process of the development agenda, which should lead to the development of the region. And I must say that apart from nominating key officials from their cabinet to be on the technical committee of DON Commission, the governors themselves have continued to provide very strong, visible leadership to the process. You would hardly hear any of them speak these days without referring to the fact that together as a region, we have decided to collectively march together. DON Commission came into being in 2013, officially July 2013, even though actions have been ongoing to make it happen. And since the commission has come into being, the process has been on track. And I must say that we have moved from the level of intentions and speeches to critical actions in furtherance of the agenda. Permit me to describe the vision behind the development agenda. And I quote, "It is for the attainment of an egalitarian, democratic, and economically self-sustaining region that unlocks the energies and resourcefulness of our people for greater good and prosperity while assuring their liberty and freedom. I say it again, the attainment of an egalitarian, democratic, and economically self-sustaining region that unlocks the energies and resourcefulness of our people for greater good and prosperity while assuring their liberty and freedom. This is the mission behind the agenda, and that is what the commission, which I head, has been pursuing. The governors have charged us to work assiduously in enacting a focused development paradigm for mobilizing the collective strengths, assets, and capabilities lying within the states of Southwest Nigeria towards achieving sustainable socio-economic growth and development that will result in high standard of living and improved well-being for the people of the region. You will see that in every instance, it is about the people. It is about putting people at the center of development actions all across the region. And you will agree with me that as you drive around the region, as you move around the region, you will see that in all our states, there are very concrete development actions that you can see. And it is changing the game how we are delivering education to our children. It is changing in the way we build our infrastructure. Gone are days when you will build a road, and in less than 2 years, the roads are already washing off. You will not find that in any of our states in the region any longer. Everything they are doing right now is the festivals. That is the philosophy behind the agenda. The philosophy behind the agenda is that whatever we do across the region will stand the test of time. And when you speak with them, when you discuss with them, you will see the passion with which all of them is carrying on. Now, this agenda is not about the governors. It is not about the government. It is about the people of the region. And when we speak with our critical stakeholders, we talk to them about the Yoruba version or the Yoruba variant of this activity, which we call Agbajo. That exactly is what this process is about. It is the process of Kafi Agbajo satisfied. Therefore, it has no exclusivist intentions. It is supposed to bring everybody on board. Everybody in the civil society, everybody in government and the private sector, including our traditional institutions, must be on the driver's seat of this process. That is the only way it can work. A lot of people have expressed the fear. What about if these people are no longer in government? But I can assure you of something. The Yoruba people reward performance. They reward vision, and they reward results. I do not foresee that situation where we will not have this caliber of individuals in government in our state, even as we go on. And I also say that as long as we all become the owners of this process, as long as we all run with the vision, we believe in the vision, there is nobody who can come tomorrow and try to set us back on the track of development that we are pursuing. That is what we believe, and we think today, what is happening here today is a critical force to prove that assertion. The micro, small, and medium enterprises, I do not need to say more than what Professor had mentioned in his speech. And anything that we do to ensure that businesses within that framework thrive, prosper, and are sustained will definitely lead to the economic development of our region. I do not want to take much of your time. The vision is clear. The vision has been set. It is up to the rest of us to run with it, to support us.
Can we please put our hands together for him once more? I want to warmly welcome to our midst the Commissioner for Regional Integration and Special Duties from Osun State, the man who was the governor of solid minerals. I also have Honorable Tosin Ayoade, Special Assistant to the Governor on Investment.
The host body responsible for this ceremony, for this integration program, the third leg of it, Southwest Regional Integration Program. The Managing Director of the Vintage Media Limited, Mr. Victor Ekiti, the Director General of Dawn, Mr. Dipo Famakinwa, my brother, the most distinguished senator representing Ondo North, Senator Ajayi Borofe, members of the State Executive Council here present, chairman of our local governments across the Dawn states, distinguished entrepreneurs, micro, small, and medium entrepreneurs attending this forum, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the land of honor, Ekiti State, Ile. I particularly welcome all participants from other states in our region. I wish you all a pleasant day here in the land of honor. I want to particularly commend the nation's newspapers and CD resources for asking Ekiti to host the third leg of this program, having held the inaugural edition in Ibadan, Oyo State, our region's political capital, and then the last one, I know, you know I'm biased towards you, I'm an Ibadan boy. And of course, the last one held in Osogbo, the state of Osun, under the auspices of our very dynamic Honorable Commissioner for Regional Integration and Special Duties, Barrister Bashir Ibola. This event is of particular significance because it addresses the core of sustainable development. Our chairman has already touched on this, and the Director General of Dawn also highlighted some pertinent issues in this regard. According to the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, SMEs, that is small and medium enterprises, have a significant role to play in economic development. They form the backbone of the private sector. They make up over 90% of enterprises in the world. and account for 50 to 60% of employment. They also play an important role in generating employment and poverty alleviation. Our own National Bureau of Statistics put the total number of SMEs in Nigeria at over 17 million. However, because of some challenges in the economy, a lot of MSME operators find it very difficult to thrive. Some of their challenges include poor infrastructure, burdensome tax regimes, lack of capacity in accounting, management, marketing, economic planning, and limited access to finance. Also of note is the fact that most SMEs are operated by young people who constitute a majority demographic group at over 70% of our population. Our youth are the bastion and future of our region, and indeed our nation. Therefore, I consider this event a major step in the right direction towards setting the Western region on the path to sustainable economic development. I know that the organizers are very fond of referring to our region as Southwest. Some of us refuse to refer to this region as Southwest. It is the Western region. It shall remain the Western region. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is on record that the old Western region development legacies are yet to be surpassed in the history of our nation. Without being exceptionalist, of all the ethnic nationalities in Nigeria today, the West has been known to be pace-setters in development for other regions to follow. Our region has equally been the hub of civilization, trade, industry, commerce, education, and other social advancements. Our past leaders, particularly the late sage, Chief Obafemi Awolowo of blessed memory, laid the foundation for the development of the region through free education, integrated rural development, which produced many of our leaders of today. I don't want to bore you with the statistics. That's the job for Mr. Famakiwa to do, and I think he's done a bit of it in his speech. But the region, with a population of about 50 million people, remains educationally resourceful, the most politically stable, the most religiously tolerant, and the most economically endowed. We realize that bringing the dreams of our fathers to reality remains our collective responsibility. That is why we have come together to pursue this noble dream of regional integration. This objective gave birth to the new thinking and renewal of the idea that even though we may be states, we are not states apart, we are states within a region. Yes, it may be too late for us to, by one fiat, cancel these states, but it need not prevent us from our goals of integration and collaboration. Since our values of collectivity, of cooperation, of collaboration are known and respected globally, we also owe it a duty to our people as leaders not to seek to divide them, but to unite them even when there are differences. I must at this point, therefore, commend my brother governors who, as true visionaries, have laid a solid foundation for the integration of the region with the adoption of the blueprint to guide our exertions, namely the development agenda of the Western Nigeria. We have, of course, further consolidated our position by establishing an institutional framework, the Dawn Commission, with headquarters in Ibadan, Oyo State, and with a clear mandate to drive the attainment of the goals of our development agenda. Regional integration of Western Nigeria is not just about the unity of the region, but also focusing on presenting the region as a bloc for global competitiveness by strategically harnessing its economic competitive element. And of course, some may wonder, global competitiveness came. Well, I have news for you. If you look at the smallest state in that region, which is where you are now, Ekiti State, a state of 2.5 million people, is certainly larger in population size than 16 African countries that I know. And if you are in doubt, check out the population of Lesotho, Botswana, Gambia, Cape Verde, Namibia, Guinea-Bissau, Rwanda. I can go on and on and on, Djibouti, Somalia. Then you will know why getting us ready for global competitiveness is not a task beyond our reality. The second is making a radical infrastructural development in the region. Mr. Famakiwa already remarked that in 3 years, 4 months that God and our people have placed me in the saddle here in this state, we have managed to connect over 85% of our state by motorable tarred roads. And if you go around other states of Osun, of Oyo, of Ogun, of Lagos, and even in parts of Ondo State, you will see that this is a task that has been considerably advanced. Having a strong focus on both social and human capital, development of the region remains a critical challenge for us. But even in our culture, we have always argued that our people are our greatest resource, and that we must consistently and continuously do what would edify and improve the sense of self-worth of our people. And that is the major task that John also has in terms of human capital development. Equally important to us is building inclusive institutions. Many have argued that because we belong to different political parties, therefore regional integration should be difficult. Those who have read me and those who know my position on this, including my recent position on the national conference, will know that I've consistently maintained that we're not just government of our party, but government of our people, and we owe our people a duty always to promote what we know would ultimately be in their best interest, even if sometimes this may not appear to be politically correct from our own perspective. Homeland affairs and security, this is very critical. Although we remain the most secure part of this country today, we also know that eternal vigilance is the price to pay for our liberty. And at all times, it is absolutely important that we pay attention to the security and safety of our people, which remains the #1 duty of our government in region. And Don has been tasked with a responsibility to work with our government in ensuring that homeland affairs and security remain a priority. And I believe that those of our people who are headed in the direction of the national conference in the not-too-distant future will see that this will be one of the major responsibilities that we're going to place at their laps when they get to the conference. Finally, the importance of raising and sustaining the enviable culture of our region, the culture of Omoluabi. Character is beauty. We know that all of us, if we're true sons and daughters of Yoruba land, always put at the behest of everything that we do the importance of character, integrity, and honor. That is why it is very difficult for us, when we come from this path, not to associate ourselves with an ideology that is pro-people. It is very difficult if we're genuine sons and daughters of this part of our country to promote the culture of the end justified the means, to promote the culture that we are on our own and God for us all, because we always know that we have a duty, indeed a responsibility, to not just our nuclear family, but to our neighbors and to our community. And it is too late in the day for us to begin to take ourselves away from that enviable culture of our region. I must, however, state that sustainable economic development is the platform from which all of the other objectives that I have mentioned can be tackled successfully. It is for this reason that this conference, focusing on MSME as one of the vehicles for driving our objective of presenting the region as a bloc for global competitiveness by strategically harnessing its economic competitive elements. This is the main reason for holding this third edition of the Regional Integration Program on MSME. As we all know, the world is dynamic, and as such, we need to follow the trend of development in order to be relevant to the global economy. This necessitated our quest to move away from a focus on the traditional commercial activities to modern, medium, small, and micro entrepreneurs. The reason for this is to create wealth and at the same time address unemployment, which is the cause of many of the social diseases bedeviling our society. As the managing director of the Vinci Media Limited already mentioned, you will know as a party that this is a major issue for us, either in the activities that we embark on in our various states, or even as characterized by our first governance policy lecture series, which held in Ibadan a couple of days ago. It was not an accident that we focused exclusively on unemployment and jobless growth. It's because we know that if we do not tackle the scourge of unemployment head-on, we are all going to be consumed by the fire of unemployment. And no one, absolutely none of us, would claim to be an innocent bystander, because the unemployment will get us, even in our air-conditioned offices, in our air-conditioned cars, and in our air-conditioned houses. That is why we must look for creative and innovative means of tackling this. And I believe micro and small, medium enterprises offer us one of the greatest opportunities to allow people to develop a sense of self-worth by occupying themselves with a variety of entrepreneurship in this world. As I conclude my remarks, I would like to share with you some of the efforts we have made in Ekiti State to leverage micro, small, and medium enterprise development. Our overarching vision is to make poverty history in this state. Since the inception of this administration, we have created opportunities for the employment of both graduates and non-graduates into various schemes. Our Youth in Commercial Agriculture Development Program, our Youth Volunteer Corps, our training program for investors, our partnership with the Bank of Agriculture and the Bank of Industry, and focusing also on building skill sets through vocational training, renovation, and establishment of our Life Academy in a bid to reduce unemployment and eradicate poverty. In December 2013, the government of Ekiti State inaugurated the Ekiti State Council on Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises, constituting 23 high-profile members to help coordinate the activities of MSMEs in the state. This is in recognition of the important role that MSMEs play in economic development and in job creation and wealth creation. We are also in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria in its recent effort to inject 220 billion naira low-interest long-term development finance for the benefit of small and medium-scale enterprises. And I hope in the course of these 2 days that we will have someone from the Central Bank talk about this, because I'm also aware that Osun State is already actively engaging the Central Bank in this same scheme, and possibly many of our other states that I may not be aware of are doing the same. The state government also recently set up the Cooperatives Board with the mandate to organize all of our cooperative societies in Ekiti State and to regulate their activities in a way and manner that the common challenges they encounter, particularly in the area of accessing loans, can be addressed. Indeed, to put our efforts to concretization, government has also made available 600 million naira in partnership with the Bank of Agriculture for our cooperative to access. It should also interest you to know that for the first time in our 2014 budget, we appropriated about 300 million naira for private sector development, with far-reaching goals to provide soft loans to SMEs, as well as facilitating capacity building opportunities for SME operators on the rudiments of doing sustainable business. We are also establishing a one-stop shop in the state, which will streamline all the regulatory steps needed to be taken to conduct business in our state. This will ensure business startups can meet all requirements by visiting just one office and spending a very short time to accomplish their task. This we believe will go a long way in improving the ease of doing business in our state. The state government remains committed to improving the administration of justice in the state so as to ensure robust legal framework for the enforcement of contracts and the protection of honorable business interests. Let me, at this juncture, once again express my appreciation to my brother governors who are present through their representatives here at this important forum. We believe that the transformation of our region is our collective responsibility. At Bajowo, to all other impacted guests, we appreciate your presence. I also want to commend the efforts of British Press, the publisher of the Nation newspaper, and CD Resources for sharing in this vision of regional integration and supporting this initiative. I welcome you all and pray that the Almighty God will bless our good efforts. It is, therefore, on this note that I declare this forum open to the glory of God and the benefit of all.
That we had in the past, 15 and 16, before the military incursion fostered a unitary state. And one of the important writers, as long